welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. If you're new around here, my name is Hannah May, and today's video is going to be more of a tutorial style video. So I've never really done anything like this on my channel, but this is going to be a beginner highlighter tutorial. I figured I would try something a little bit different on my channel. So yeah, I'm just going to be showing you guys how to apply highlighter for beginners. I'm going to be using a powder highlighter, but let me know if you would like to see me do this for like liquid highlighter or cream highlighter or anything like that. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do and it helps you, then be sure to give it a huge thumbs up to let me know. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload. And yeah, now let's get on into the video. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be more of a powder highlight tutorial. So the highlighter I'm going to be using is one that I feel is very beginner friendly, both in how easy it is to use and also in the price point. So I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Metallic Flare Highlighter. Mine is just in the shade White Gold. It just looks like this. And then if I open it up for you guys, that is just what the highlighter itself looks like. Yeah, like I said, I feel like this is very suitable for beginners as it's at a cheaper price point. e.l.f. I feel like are just really good for good products at great prices. Some other kind of like lower price point brands, there's Makeup Revolution. They run a ton of different brands as well and do great highlighters. But yes, that's what I'm going to be using today. So first, I'm going to go over the general places that you can highlight. So, you can highlight your cheekbone, your nose, the tip of your nose. Some people highlight the Cupid's Bow, which is basically just this kind of like dip above your top lip. You can highlight your brow bone, the inner corner of your eye, like the tear duct area. Personally, I just highlight my cheekbones, my nose, and the inner corner of my eyes. And then I do highlight my brow bone, but I generally do that a little bit differently to most people, which I'll get onto at the end probably. But yeah, so I'm going to start with the cheekbones. So I feel like how you apply highlighter kind of varies based on your preference. So my personal preference is a pop of highlighter on the cheekbones, but for the sake of this video being a beginner video, I am going to show you on this side how I do mine for a pop of highlighter. And on this side, how you can get more of a subtle highlight, if that's more of what you would like. So, starting with the pop of highlight on this side, I like to take an angled brush for my highlighter. That is just my preference. Again, the brush you use will come down to preference. You can use an angled brush, you can use a fan brush, you could even use an eyeshadow brush if you're completely new to it and you're not sure that you want to, I guess, like commit to an actual highlighter brush until you know if you want to highlight. But yeah, so for the pop of highlight, I'm going to start with the angled brush. This is a Kylie Cosmetics brush, but I will have some other brushes linked below. I know if you want a super cheap one, Wilko do really good brushes. They do one at like a lower price point, and they do one that also is more of like their premium range. Real Techniques do really good brushes. But yeah, so the way I like to do my highlighter with an angled brush is I basically like to use the tip to highlight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop that into the highlighter, tap it off, and then I'm just going to follow my cheekbone essentially. So I'm going to put the tip of the brush to my cheekbone and just kind of swish a couple of times. I need a mirror. I feel like if you didn't, like, I guess, like, swish as many times, I don't know how else to describe it, but I feel like if you didn't do that as much, obviously you're not going to build it up as much, so you probably could get a more subtle highlighter with an angled brush as well. But yeah, so that is kind of like my more pop highlighter. It's still kind of subtle compared to highlighters I have used. But yes, that's that on that cheekbone. And then on this cheekbone, I'm going to use my Spectrum A10 small fan brush. Spectrum are another really good brand for brushes, and I find that for me the fan brush gives more of a subtle highlighter. So all I'm going to do is the same thing, just kind of swirl it around in the highlight, tap it off a little bit more than before, and then just brush it onto my cheekbone. And that way you've got kind of like that barely noticeable, just subtle highlighter. Now moving on to my nose. To highlight my nose, I just take that same approach. I just kind of swirl it in there and pop it straight down my nose and along the tip. Just following that bone of the bridge of my nose and then just wiggling it across the tip. A fan brush is also great for highlighting your Cupid's bow. Like I said, personally I don't do that. But again, if you want to, then you would just take the same approach of put it in the highlighter and then just gently go along the Cupid's bow. Personally, for the inner corner of my eyes, I just like to use my little finger. I find that it picks it up easier, but you could use a small eyeshadow brush. But yeah, I just find it easier with my finger. I feel like you can get into the inner corner of the eye easier. But again, a small eyeshadow brush does great as well. I used to use the Kylie Cosmetics small eyeshadow brush for that, as it was good for like getting little areas of detail. But yeah, like I said, I just like to apply it with my finger. So I just swirl my finger in the highlighter, and then obviously I can't tap it off because it's my finger. But I'm gonna try and position the mirror, but so that you can also still see me do it. And then I leave my eye open most of the time, and I just pat it into my inner corner. Sometimes I find this takes a little bit of building if you want more of a pop on the inner corner highlight, which is what I prefer. But that's just a little bit more subtle. Hopefully you can see that okay. It just kind of adds a little bit of something onto the inner corner, a little bit of detail. Another thing you can do for inner corner, kind of like tear duct area highlight, is you can use like shimmer eyeshadows. So like for example in this palette, I just use this white gold one. So I'm going to just quickly show you what that would look like as well. Again, I just use my finger. I'm going to need a mirror. And I just take the same approach, patting it into my inner corner, kind of lightly rubbing it in as well. Adding more if I feel like I want more of a pop. And that is what it looks like with the eyeshadow. Personally, I often use eyeshadow as I prefer that, but I will use highlighter as well. It really just depends, again, on your preference and the kind of look you're going for. But yeah, and then the final place I'm going to show you guys to highlight is the brow bone. So I have a very different approach to this. I don't generally use highlighter on my brow bone. I use matte eyeshadow. So I generally take this whitish matte eyeshadow, and I'll just take a general eyeshadow brush. This is the Real Techniques base shadow brush. I've had this for years. Real Techniques is really good if you want long-lasting brushes. So yeah, I prefer to use a matte eyeshadow for my brow highlight. That is just my preference. I find that it's nice to tidy up the edges of my eyeshadow and kind of soften the edges of my eyeshadow. But you can also use highlighter as well. Obviously, some people use powder highlighters, some people use cream highlighters, stick highlighters. It's completely up to you. I think you can buy actual brow highlighter as well, like a pencil for your brow. But this is just how I do it. And I just kind of go under my brow and onto my brow bone. Focusing mostly, obviously, on that brow bone area. And like I said, if you're just looking to kind of tidy up your eyeshadow, this is the best way to do it, I feel like. Or if you don't want a shimmer under your eyebrows. But I am also going to show you what it would look like if you used regular highlighter. So I'm going to stick to the Real Techniques base shadow brush, as I find that highlighting the brow bone and eyeshadow brush is pretty helpful, as it gets nicely in the kind of shape, I guess. But yeah, so I'm just going to swirl my eyeshadow brush around in my highlighter, tap it off a little bit, and then I'm just going to focus simply on the end kind of my brow, where my actual brow bone mostly is. And I'm just going to swish that back and forth, like so. And that is just what that looks like with more of a shimmer. Hopefully you can see that okay. You could honestly probably use an angled brush for your brow bone as well, but I just feel like an eyeshadow brush for a beginner is a lot easier, as it just gets the kind of shape and area a lot easier. But yeah, you probably could use an angled brush. Again, it's just kind of down to preference, so I guess you could try, see what works best for you. Like I said, personally, I don't like a shimmer highlighter or anything like that under my brow bone. I like to use a matte eyeshadow as it softens and cleans up my eyeshadow as well. But it really just, again, comes down to preference. I feel like makeup basically just comes down to preference. Eventually, I feel like you just kind of learn what you prefer and what you think suits you best. So I would recommend trying different ways of highlighting and just finding the one that suits you best and that you like the best. But yeah, I do hope that this video was helpful to you guys though, and I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, then be sure to give it a huge thumbs up to let me know. If you are someone who already uses highlighter and you have any tips for beginners that I maybe didn't mention, or just any other helpful tips, then feel free to drop those in the comments. And also let me know in the comments if you have any other beginner tutorials that you would like to see me do, and I'll be happy to try and do those for you guys. If you're new to my channel, then be sure to subscribe right over here and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. And I also have a vlog channel. If that is something you'll be interested in, then you can subscribe right here. If you would like more content from myself, then you can click here for my last video, or you can click here for another makeup video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye guys!